we're back, literally, and the time is now. But to be a little bit more specific, the time is late. The time is rather freaking late because my sleep schedule is on it's on a rather delayed time frame because I overslept. Well, actually, I think I slept as much as I needed to, but in a timeline situation, right? If 9 o'clock or 8 o'clock would be a regular wake-up time, holy crap, I was out a bit longer than that. So this feels like a normal, just, evening kind of lift, but it's already freaking midnight. So I gotta get back on my regular kind of sunrise-ish cardio and then normal evening kind of lift schedule. But I'm not in a rush. I can let that kind of ease itself out because I don't want to cut back on any of my sleeping right now. That is for sure. Because the better rest I get, the easier it is to get back into my regular kind of level of like water holding and everything else. And then we can reach the baseline state for this up and coming bulking phase. So what I'm aiming for tonight, get as big of a back pump as possible, go as heavy as reasonable, and just enjoy. So probably going to lean towards a bit more cable stuff, but there's a couple back machines here that I don't mind. The only problem is a lot of the chest supported stuff, at least with rows, it ends up being kind of tricky because it puts so much pressure on your chest. Like if you're bent over a seat or something doing real heavy rows, it ends up being kind of hard to keep your breath. So it makes me want to do more like single-sided stuff, but then single-sided movements for back end up taking twice as long. So it's a lot of angles to that. But if all you've got available is just a regular cable pull down, pull-up bar, seated row, or similar, dude, you're good, right? Because all you're really doing with your back anyway is a lot of this, right? A lot of scapular retraction, and then what do you call this? Upper arm rotation or transmutation. Well, either way, nothing too crazy, right? Your back is going to pull this way, your hand towards you, pull your hand downward, and kind of pull around in more of a pullover kind of fashion. That's why I'm always saying pullovers, rows, and pull downs, because that's kind of all there is. You can add variability with like some cable rows where you're pulling towards your body, or some pullovers where you're doing one arm kind of sideways instead of both arms at once, or there's bent over rows, cable rows, machine rows. But if you really break it down, I mean, all your back knows is it's got some tension and it's fighting against it. So don't feel like you have to completely overcomplicate your back day with 10 different movements if the core components that you're aiming for are just those big three. Oh, sorry. Just those big three, right? The pull down, the row, and the pull over. So I'm more concerned with like, all right, I want to finish this day with a full back pump. Let's start with some lat focused pull downs. Maybe move on to some upper back focus rows. Maybe do some seated cable rows where I lean back a little more and keep my elbows higher up so I get more trap activation. Maybe do some pullovers and then finish with like a row superset or something. Just hit my whole back from top to bottom, a few different angles, and then finish as pumped up as I can freaking get. But I think there's no point in discussing it any further. How about we just go get this back day started? I would predict there's a high degree of certainty that the first movement might be some regular wide grip pull downs, but who's to say? Maybe I start warming up and I decide squeezing pullovers could be a much better start. I guess we'll just find out. Okay, perfect example of holding back just a touch. Even though I'm warming up and things are feeling good, if I go too heavy on these pull downs right now, my left lat feels a little funky. Like not hurt or anything, but it just has a little bit of tenderness, which if I push the weight too much, might make me a little anxious, right? So instead of trying to move around a crazy amount of weight and just slap the stack, Let's be a bit more reasonable, more like, well, the pull down equivalent of 180, and start off with a wide grip, hard squeezing set. Minimize the tension, not have so much risk of a random pull, but still gonna go hard, of course. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Oh my goodness. Yeesh. Yeah, 2 more of those would be perfect. I can go a touch heavier though, but nothing crazy. Yeah. Okay. Oh. One more. Okay. Oh my goodness. Some seated V-bar curls ought to do quite nicely. Same thing, not too heavy. Goldilocks weight. And I'm going to be a little more upper back focused than just a pure lat focused row. Let me go a little lower. These would be a little nastier. Oh my gosh, just one more of those. And actually a little lighter. That might have been too heavy. 90 would be the sweet spot, not 100. Oh my God. All right. We're getting close to done. I think let's just call it 2 of these though. Move on to something a little more squeezing focused. And I think I've got an idea right behind you. Let's do some alternating bent over cable rows. And I prefer this to a dumbbell because with the cable, you don't build up so much momentum. Like even if I did these reps really quickly, I would never feel like the weight is floating because when I pull this handle a foot with these pulleys, the weight only goes up half a foot, so half speed. So if I rip a dumbbell up really quick, the weight is moving at the same speed of my hand, and I can kind of float the negative, like tension, 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 float, tension, 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 tension. But with the cable, the tension's much more constant the whole time. And I just like the feeling of it, which honestly is a little bit more important. But probably 5-ish so reps, switch hands and repeat. And I'm focusing on more upper traps and stuff. Yeah. Come on. Oh yeah. Holy crap. Let's finish with a pull down row superset. Well, definitely a superset, but let me think about it for a second, decide what I really want it to look like. I think this is all I'm gonna need now. Some standing, squeezing rope, upright kind of rows-ish. So a little something like this. Really just squeezing, kind of pumping out my traps, rhomboids and stuff. Then I'll get a little lat activation, jump onto the pull down, light, well, lighter than I was doing before, squeezing reps real wide, burn out, and get under this lighting. Really, I'm just hanging right around this little corner. And it's totally fine with me. It saves me walking around to different pieces of equipment. That's good. Okay. Holy crap. got a little bit of reflection to get into after the Arnold Expo, and getting to hear so many different stories from so many different lifters. And one kind of key theme, which will persist rather strongly in my mind pretty much forever as a good piece of advice, but kind of a deep piece of advice as well, is you got to take freaking control, right? The wheel is right here. Grab that shit, man. Steer your boat, steer your Camry where you want it to go, and be 100% freaking responsible for it. And what I mean by that is, shit, man, you know, unless you're still living with your parents in high school, and even if you are, obviously you've still got your own ability to make legit decisions, but in a sense you're still kind of living under their roof. You're not your own dude yet, so you get a little bit of a pass. But eventually you've got to realize, like, holy crap, I'm alive. I'm looking down, I'm controlling my hands, I'm controlling my whatever. I've got, for the most part, pretty much complete control of what I get to do in my free time of the day, at least. Man, all right. Well, I don't really feel like I'm where I exactly want to be. Am I working towards that? Am I at least making a small step towards where I want to be in whatever given vector of anything, right? Whatever kind of long-term goals and endeavors you've got. And they don't have to be freaking crazy, like becoming a damn, like, competitive bodybuilder or anything like that. Anything that you can think of where you're like, all right, I want to work on this. I want to work on getting back into shape. I want to work on getting back to being able to run a mile sub whatever minutes like you used to in high school. You know, anything. So what I mean by take responsibility is don't make any excuses for yourself. And I really mean for yourself, because, you know, if somebody were to come up to me and be like, dude, Sam, why aren't your legs as big as mine? You know, and then they freaking blow their pants off by doing a quad stomp, you know, I'm gonna think to myself, whoa, Jesus Christ, you scared me, bro. But, you know, I could say, well, you know, I'm still working on my legs, I'm still working on whatever, that might not be the best example, but, you know, whatever. But what I'm talking about is your inner monologue, right? So it's you, it's 6 in the morning, you said you were going to do an early workout today because you're going to be busy for the rest of the afternoon doing something else. And in your mind, if you make a pros and cons list, it is going to leave you leaning towards, all right, I should do this workout. If I'm talking objectively to myself, this workout's going to do me good, I'm going to go hard, I'm going to be on track for my goals later, I'm going to feel good afterward because I'll get that relief of like, oh, that was hard, that was kind of uncomfortable, but it's done now, right? So what happens is there's a different sort of perspective with that pros and cons list that is not objective, right? It is your subjective kind of subconscious that wants you to take it easier on yourself because your body and your mind wants to stay in homeostasis, right? You want to stay chill and relaxed and not under pressure, right? Your subconscious mind does not really like pressure, right? It's freaky. It's anxiety inducing. You know, public speaking, giving a presentation, working on some kind of project or something where you know you've got a grade later or anything else like that kind of puts stress on your mind, and your mind doesn't really like it. You know, it would much rather say, oh, don't worry about it, just don't do it, like just you know, curl up in a ball, stay safe. Like, that's kind of the subconscious trying to protect yourself, which evolutionarily has clearly had a use case, because obviously the human race is kind of killing it. Top dog of the freaking planet, top dog of the galaxy, right? And take that as far as we can really observe, at least, you know, given classified files, right? But there's a point where you've got to kind of outdo that and say, look, man, yeah, sure, this is hard, this is kind of uncomfortable, but me in the future is going to benefit from some uncomfortability in the present, right? So if you can think like that, I think that's the biggest thing that separates us from anybody else in the dang animal kingdom, is our ability to employ delayed gratification. You know, if we see a dang plate of cake or something, and let's say you're on a diet, yeah, your subconscious mind is telling you, dude, that thing would taste really good right now, and you're really hungry. Eat that stuff. I was about to say a different kind of swear word there. I'm trying to control myself. But that's your subconscious mind. Eat that. That's going to feel good right now. I want those feel good signals. Do it. Your conscious mind has to say, that's not. I don't agree with that. I don't identify with slamming a cake right now. That's not. It doesn't match my goals. And then go from there, right? But it's easier said than done. So when I say take responsibility, I mean try to build up some extra sensitivity to those subconscious kind of bubbling up thoughts which you don't really have control of, which are trying to kind of steer you away from whatever your goal is to take you down the easy path, and you got to just snip them, right? Don't give them any mind, don't give them any value, right? Stick to what you're really aiming for. And the longer that you do that, the less power that those little thoughts have. Let's say, let's backtrack a few weeks. All right, I'm eating dang near 2,000 calories a day-ish for my build, basically zilch. I'm extra tired from my workouts. The cardio is taking freaking forever because I'm doing like 2 hours a day. Actually, I was only doing like an hour, so a little easier. But hour of cardio a day, hard lift, I'm kind of tired, right? Subconscious is saying, dude, eat some food, quit working out, chill, right? But if I were to do that, that would completely offshoot me from what my goals are. And since I kind of got myself into a solid ass, locked in kind of mentality, I didn't give those thoughts, well, I might have given them some mind. Like I was definitely thinking to myself, like, oh geez, I'm getting freaking tired, or man, I'm freaking hungry. But those were not things that I was acting upon. You know what I'm saying? So whether you kind of get the gist of what I'm saying there, I think it was reasonably concise. Just try not to take the easy road, at least as long as you can help it. And you don't have to be on it 100%. You don't have to be completely 100% locked in 100% of the time. I had some pretty dang wild cheat days. I think I had like 3 really crazy ones, like just abominable cheat days across that last kind of prep. But the average, maybe 96%, was on track. A little bit of fluctuations in there too, and then yeah, man, still worked out. So all that's to say is, if you can get yourself locked in for the most part, you are freaking golden. But it's still gonna require some diligence on your end. So just was just what I said a second ago. Don't take it too easy. Don't take it too easy. Every so often you can take a little easy, have a rest day, have a cheat day, have a whatever. But for the most part, you really do have to be locked in. So for me, I've got a chest day planned for tomorrow. I gotta fill up the gas tank, grab some kind of 0-calorie drink or something because I'm thirsty at this Sheetz, and then I'm gonna freaking hit the sack. So I'll see you for chest tomorrow.